tonight's show because there's only 13. I mean, there's only 10.
Bam, we're live with James Hobart.
Back.
And the rest of us are insignificant. Tonight, James is here. I'll shut up.
Not at all.
Welcome
James,
back.
I haven't talked to you in forever.
We haven't, not on this venue.
Yeah, not even really on the phone much either.
No, you've been dodging me a little bit.
I've been dodging you.
Yeah. And you got double sweatbands on tonight, got the vest pulled up. He's in 2K. He's in 2K training mode.
It's because it's the Masters show. He's been looking forward to this all year.
I did the Ken. I did the carb rant at the end of the Jalen Turner podcast. Feel free to check it out. Maybe someone will make a clip and it'll go to YouTube or to Reels. I thought it was pretty good.
Oh, I forgot about the comments.
They're gnarly now, dude.
You forgot about the peanut gallery. Hey, do you think this show takes a while to get off the ground? Like it's been going a minute yet and we haven't said anything. We're not like, oh, so-and-so from the Masters division died. Like we're a minute in and nothing significant has been said.
Slow roll it, baby. What are you worried
I
about?
just hate podcasts that start slow and I just realized, oh shit, sometimes we don't say shit for like 20 minutes.
Well, it
I
depends
remember
what
we
you
used
think
to
is
do.
slow.
Yeah.
Sometimes you come on and the first thing you do is start talking about a very not slow topic.
Oh, good. Okay, good.
That's what I was gonna say too. It ebbs and flows.
But I heard you were going to be have your kid gloves on tonight. So
Kid gloves. I chopped my hands off, tied my dick in a knot. I'm neutered.
There it is.
I'm in love. I see you and I started swooning. Dun, dun, dun,
Gaining
I was
momentum.
talking to my mom about your show and the general vulgarity. Is that a word?
Yeah, I think that works.
Mm.
Crassness.
Crassness.
Hey, there was a
lascivious banter.
there was a girl named Freya Mooseberger who was on the Clydesdale podcast with Kat Schreier the other day. And Kat said, have you been on the Sevan podcast? And she said, no. And she said, would you go on it? And the chick says, no. And Kat thought it was because like maybe the chick was going to be intimidated or something. And she said, oh, why not? And the chick just opened up with, well, if he said anything inappropriate to me or anything misogynistic, I would not laugh it off. I would stand up for him, for myself or for anyone else. And then they switched subjects with the implication that I was inappropriate, check, and misogynistic. But you can't, that does not work. Misogynistic does not work for me. I looked up that word. I'm not that.
Have you invited her on?
No, I wasn't sure whether to embrace. You know, when someone's like says something dumb about you, you're not sure whether to embrace them or to fucking declare holy war.
Yeah.
But when I see
what
Hobart's eyes looking at me, it makes me want to embrace them.
Yes.
Yeah, I would embrace.
You soften me.
Yeah.
You're like lube. You're like lotion on my skin.
I like that I don't make you hard.
This is Hobart. That's your son being crass. Let's and I don't want to take any blame for that. Showbart.
Bam.
James, why do people compete in Masters? Is it just this urge to compete? Why are they doing it? Is it to win? Is it to when I was younger, I used to kind of make fun of it. And now that I'm getting older, when I was younger, when I was 30, I made fun of Masters and someone said to me, hey, dude, nothing changes as you get older. You just get older. Maybe your body hurts a little more, but those people who want to compete when they're younger still want to compete when they're older. You act like there's going to be this big change. And I'm like, yeah, don't you just like relax? And they're like, no, same person, just in a fucking older body, older car.
No, yeah, I totally agree. That was one of the interesting things when I competed in the Masters division last year, and that was my first foray into the Masters competition. Is like a lot of the people there too are like pretty accomplished in other areas of their life. Like I don't think they were like sandbaggers growing up and making their way through their life. So they're hyper competitive people, especially the 35-39 division, but all the way up to the top. I don't think anyone really works that hard to get that far, and then just. I'm sure there's a couple, but the majority of people there don't just go there just to show up.
They're not just going there to feel the they actually want to win.
It's a bit, and it's still, I think at all levels, it's still a pretty big time commitment comparatively, right? Like I'm sure to be a 65 plus year old games athlete, you know, the amount of time you're putting in is not like a 20-year-old games athlete, but compared to your other 65-year-old CrossFitters, it's probably a shitload of time.
Oh, that is interesting because your average 65-year-old CrossFitter at your regular affiliate is spending way more time exercising than just your average 65-year-older.
Oh my God. Yeah. I would have to. My mom asked me she asked me once, she goes, how fit do you think I am compared to, the average 55 or 60-year-old? And I was like, you're basically like a Kryptonian,
Yeah.
like
Right.
You're almost a different species.
You're not even
And then
comparable.
I think,
Damn. I knew I wasn't going to be able to
Brian-
wear this jacket. Too hot.
I'm getting sweaty just watching you.
My door's open. I thought it was going to be cold. I'm in shorts.
I think maybe Brian has this stat, but I think I was looking at the 65 plus year old women because all of the masters had to do a legless rope climb in their final stage of qualification. And I think of the 30 women 65 plus who did the legless rope climb workout, I think only 8 of them or something like that, 8 or 7 of them couldn't do a legless rope climb.
Wow.
At
Like
what
I know
age?
30, 65 plus.
That's crazy.
Right. I think that's pretty accurate.
That shit's not safe. Does CrossFit have insurance to cover that?
Oh man.
Fucking crazy, irresponsible to put them up on a rope. It's a short rope, right? It's a 4-foot rope. You start from the seated position and you only go.
Yeah,
4
they have them
feet.
laid down. It's actually just a pole to stand. No, man, they're legless. They're doing a legless rope climb at 60. Like I know.
Can we see a
30-year-old
video of that? I
guys
want to
who
see a
can't do
video of that. I want to see a video of that.
It'd probably take a little while to dig one up.
And hey, and you know what else? What's amazing about this, and I'm always reminded by this, and the homework that Brian gave us, the article Chad Schroeder wrote for the Morning Chalk Up. There's always that one lady in there that I always forget about that I got to get on the show. Let me see if I can find the. She's been to the CrossFit Games 12 times.
Lynn Knappman.
Yeah.
Lynn Knappman. This is amazing. I wrote an article about her actually on the South China Morning Post, I think 2 summers ago, because it's unprecedented. I just had a chance to go down to Dallas for one of the competitions that Chase Ingram was hosting there, a masters only competition, 35 to 65 plus, and talked to a bunch of the different athletes in a variety of different divisions there. And it's tough to, from a lifestyle perspective and just, as the body ages, like you need that recovery. So for her to continuously do that for 12 years, and his article goes into detail about how difficult it is to qualify on the back end of every age group. So when you're 35, 36, your chances are really good. When you're 38, 39, not so good. And that's the same at every stage across. But she's made it for 12 consecutive years, which means twice she's been at the back end of an age group and still made it.
You met her there? She was at Chase's comp?
No. I have met her before and talked to her. Super nice woman. She knows that I've written about her before, so she and I have had some nice conversations.
Is she weird? Is she out there? Is she an eccentric? 12 games is eccentric.
Get her on the show.
Find out. Yeah, I love an eccentric person on the show. Brian, I think, dropped something in there that you guys may have not caught. Were you dropping that fact that was in the article also that Chad Schroeder mentioned, that the people who go to the games in general are on the lower end of their age group? Were you just mentioning that? Okay.
And especially this year when there's less spots available. Unless you're in the teenage division, then it's inverse.
It's the opposite, right. Yeah, for teens.
The difference between we don't have anyone here that old who's competing. I guess I'm the oldest person here, but the difference in the Masters is dramatic. A 35-year-old in the Masters is someone who could still qualify for the games, but probably doesn't have the endurance to last the week. And the person who's 65 is an old horse, getting close, walking towards the glue factory and dropping in on an event somewhere.
I don't know if that's the case, especially on the women's side.
Oh,
Brian will have, yes, that's me. Brian will have to fact check me on this one, but I think that
the women play harder, longer.
Yes, that's such a nice way to say it. Yes,
that's a good t-shirt. Women, we play harder and longer.
Yeah, in the individual side of things, that's definitely true. As we've seen people like Becca Voigt-Miller and Jen Ryan qualify for semifinals into their 40s. And we've seen Sam Briggs come very close to qualifying for the CrossFit Games at 40. And we've seen probably around 10 to 12 Masters women, meaning they're between 35 and 39. Sam Briggs, I think, is the oldest one to have done it last year, that have actually made the games. Whereas on the men's side, if I'm not mistaken, the only person who's been able to do that over 35 years old was Jason Smith when he's coming out of Africa. finally someone has caught up to him this year, but he was able to do it a couple times, I think.
And if you don't know what that means, you came out of Africa, go look at the semifinal standings. It's not only on the tail end, it's on the head. It's on the head also. The women are coming in earlier and they're going out later. And sometimes we like to not give it maybe the credit it deserves, or we like to argue it's because the women's division isn't as developed as the men's. But historically, if you look at it, it's always been like that. It's weird that it's on both ends. Even when the men could come in early, they couldn't compete with the older men, but the younger woman can. I mean, the youngest woman ever to be at the CrossFit Games was 15, right? In 2008 or 9. What was that girl's name?
To compete at the CrossFit Games as an individual?
Yeah.
I can't remember. I'm sorry.
15-year-old girl. Come on, Hobart. I know
I
you're
don't.
Yeah.
I'm
Time
like
code
point
1051.
Sevan.
Brian doesn't know anything.
Did you say 2008?
It's 2008 or 2009. Oh, she was definitely there this year. Okay. Keep scrolling down. Keep going. Libby, Rebecca. Wow, look at these names.
Rebecca Voigt.
Keep going. Candace Hamilton. I'll know it when I see it. Miranda Oldroyd. Amy Summers. No.
Was it that
Crystal
girl?
McReynolds? Remember her? No, I didn't see her name.
Was it Callista Pappas?
Yes. Wow. So you read it in the comments.
No, I saw her name.
Oh yeah. Wow. Good job.
Wait,
yeah.
Oh, right
25.
there. I'm on it. Yeah.
The comments.
How do we think
It's almost as if the people in the comments are watching a different show from reading those comments.
They're on their own ball game there. They're
Like,
on their own
like
program.
Heidi's mom is a cheeseburger, like that one.
What is that even about?
That's devastating. How Callista Pappas? That's crazy. How old was she? Was she really 15? No.
I think she was 15.
Well, let's find out.
This year, for the first time, or I don't know if it's the first time, but the pack going to the games, as Brian mentioned, has gone from 20 to 10. Why is that, and do we like that?
It has happened before. They were, they dropped it down and then they raised it back up, and this year they've dropped it back down to 10 in every division. My point of view on this is that I think that there can be a tapered system for game spots and semifinal spots potentially in each division. And I think this makes a lot of sense based on two other precedents that CrossFit has established. One is that the payouts for masters divisions are not uniform. So for example, the 35 to 39 division has opportunity to make more money than the rest of the divisions. And additionally, in the adaptive side of things, they've had basically said to the adaptive community, once you meet a certain threshold in terms of participation, then you can have an actual live competition at the games in Madison. Whereas this year, there's still a majority of adaptive divisions who's actually have already crowned CrossFit Games champions via the online semifinals format. And so I think that when you look at something like the quarterfinals for Masters, and you see 1,200 to 1,300 men that have signed up in the 35 to 39 division, and you see 120 men that have signed up in the 60 plus division, that's 10%, and yet they're both getting 30 spots at semifinals, and they're both getting 10 spots at the games. So I think that that's probably something that they could look at, and especially if you look at the Masters division, James will know this really well because it is his division, 35 to 39 on either the men or women's side. If you go down to 20 or 30, there's some very, very fit and potentially relevant athletes that, if inserted into the games roster, would it be fun to watch, would enhance the level of competition within the division. And I just think that those divisions are deep enough, have enough registrants and enough potential that there's no reason that they should only have 10 spots. I know anyone will say, it's going to be like a financial response. Oh, well, if we bring extra 10 in every division, then there's this much extra money that we have to spend, and they don't get as much coverage anyway, and whatever. But I don't think that's a good excuse. I think that there could be a little bit more thought put into it and have a tapered system where you get 20 or 30 in the 35 to 39, 20 in the 40 to 54. I definitely think there should be 20 in all the teenage divisions. In the boys teenage divisions this year, 14 to 15, there's 0 14-year-olds. 16 to 17, there's 1 16-year-old. He's the guy who won 14 to 15 last year. And there's just not an opportunity for them to go to the games in the younger half of the division and, grind their teeth a little bit and then age up and have that experience to carry in year two. And if that's supposed to be like the feeder system, then I don't know why they would reduce that division to 10.
Brian, are you suggesting that they make maybe a 14-year-old division, a 15-year-old division, like have 4 divisions?
If they want to only have 10, that's one way to do it. The other way is to open it back up to 20.
You don't think then that would just make it so then there's one 14-year-old and 19 15-year-olds?
No, usually there's about 25% that can get in that way. Which is,
Okay. And that how many classes are there in the Masters?
35 to 65 plus, and one for each men and women all the way up. And then the 4 teenage divisions.
So
18.
they each get 9.
18.
Yeah.
So they each get 9. And Brian, what you in that number that you gave 120 for the men, was that accurate or is that just hypothetical?
No, 60 plus men's quarterfinals. I think there were up between 105 and 115 registrants. I was just using round numbers of 1,200 and 120, but
Okay.
I think it's more than 1,200 and slightly less than 120 in those two divisions.
So in a perfect world, what you were explaining also about the adaptive classes, if let's say 2,000 people signed up, men signed up who are 70 to 75, they might open another age division. And the same thing is true with the adaptive class. If 2,000 people signed up with only one arm, maybe they would open a one arm division. They're just waiting to make it so that there's enough people to get the ball moving forward. Is that okay? And CrossFit's clear about that? I mean, it makes sense.
In the case of the adaptive divisions, that's the reasoning that I've heard, James, if you know something differently, that it's based on registration, that they've decided that there's I think it's upper extremity, lower extremity, neuromuscular. I think those were the 3 last year. They may have added one this year for the live. And then the other ones I just said didn't have enough participation yet to warrant spots at the games in the live competition. But that same logic is not being carried over to the Masters conversation.
The old people need to advocate harder.
Hey, they're usually the loudest. I like this. I wasn't poo-pooing any of this. I think this is great. I think 9 classes for men, 9 classes for women is outstanding. And I think I think fluctuating back and forth and CrossFit filling it out, what's better, 10, what's better, 20, I think it's great.
But why does it have to be the same for every division, 35 through 65?
And you're right. Maybe it doesn't either. That's great. That's a great point. You mean so like how different continents get different a number of people with the different ages, it should also apply to them.
Sure. I mean, that's another good example of, CrossFit uses open registration at this time period to determine game spots, but they're not using registration to determine Masters allotment of spots at the games.
Those guys are pretty vocal. The Masters people are pretty vocal.
Yeah, but I don't think the younger side under 40 is necessarily there yet because it's a little bit newer.
Right.
Do you think that they're doing one heat to bring, because then you'd have more eyeballs on it if they each have one heat, and then if you were going to watch, let's say you were going to watch 3 heats at Masters, you're going to catch like maybe a men's and a women's and a men's and a women's or something like that. So then that way, hopefully by giving them more airtime, so to speak, that would actually cultivate having more people signing up and then eventually opening more slots as the demand comes. Do you think that's part of the strategy?
I hope that's the long-term goal. I think also, whether this is an excuse or not, I think logistically it allows them to do more. Like last year, the only event we had that was, I think over 20 minutes was the run. And they basically had not all of the age groups, but pretty close to like big chunks of the age groups all going together. And I remember because I very handedly got beat by a bunch of 16-year-old girls in the 4.5 mile run.
Yes.
And there was some older guy who ran past me, and I looked at him like probably panicked, and he goes, "Don't worry, I'm not in your age division."
Oh, that's
like,
awesome.
Thank God, man. I think logistically, hopefully, it allows them to do add more variance to the events. Personally, I always wanted there, and I don't know if this would ever be successful, I always wanted the age group athletes to have their own separate games. I think they could get to a point where they would have that opportunity. And again, just because I think you're going to see that 35 and 39 division, not that we weren't tested well last year, but I think, and even maybe the age division up, there were athletes there talking about how they just didn't feel they could have done more, like they wanted to do more. So to be able to expand the test, and maybe having, I don't know, their own games or more time. I thought the fact that they separated the Masters and led them the 2 days earlier than the individual competition was awesome last year, for that reason, because it gave them more to do as they tested them out throughout the weekend. But that's what I'm hoping happens.
I got a question that's going to stump Brian. Ready?
Impossible.
Which Masters athlete has the most Instagram followers?
Oh,
No idea.
guy or girl? Guy or girl?
Oh, wait.
Or just
Do you
overall?
think
China.
you're
China
confident
show.
that you know that answer?
Me?
No, Sevan.
I'm confident I know it.
I'm asking if you're confident you know the answer.
No,
I'd say-
hell no.
I'd say-
I have no
I'd say
idea.
it's-
I want to know.
I think it's China Cho.
And is she Masters athlete? She's competing in the Masters?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay. Well, I really like that guess. That's a great guess. Oh, what about Kyle? What about yeah.
Are you talking about this current year's competition?
Yeah. Wow, that's a great guess. How many she got?
Let's find out.
And I only asked that. Well, not only. I asked that because it's a core.
That's the
When
only
James,
thing that matters.
well, yeah, it is the only thing that matters when you're talking about them having their own event.
I bet Sam Dancer has a lot.
Oh, China.
Oh.
She's got. I'll bring it up so you guys could see. I think that was the guess. I think that was a good guess.
Impressive.
How many does she have?
253. 253,000.
Wow.
Sam Dancer has 181.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
Damn.
China's killing it.
And so at the end of the day, it's eyeballs and money that have to that make this thing go forward. It is though probably another thing that's interesting is that the Masters clearly make more money at their day jobs than the individuals. So
That would be a cool breakdown.
Income by age group.
yeah,
Yeah. That'd be.
living at home versus not living at home.
I'd be curious to see that. I felt like when we were getting the Masters briefs, I was listening to some of the Masters around me talking. All they talked about was like retiring and their house in Hawaii and their house in Tahoe and how they just sold a business. And I'm like, well, of course you're competing at the games, like.
What else you got to do? It's a good life.
Retired. This is the first year the Masters had a semifinal ever.
Mm-hmm.
And is that a good thing? Does that mean it's growing?
Personally, I like the extra phase of qualification. Again, I think for the 35, 39 divisions, I would have liked to see more people go through because you're seeing more recent individual games athletes, pop into that Masters field, like Frederick Agidius, I think was 11th, 12th.
Paul
11th,
Tremblay, 14.
Paul Tremblay, Malleolo, a lot of people in there. So I think that would allow them to bring more to the and Rich is going to compete Masters next year.
Mm-hmm. Heard it here first.
And Brian Friend
that
is
is-
going to.
That is maybe that's true.
We got the clip.
there's-
I can't wait till that gets clipped and that's on Instagram tomorrow.
Another interesting fact in this article that Chad Schroeder wrote is that, and I'm not sure, the first part was so dense with stats and numbers in that chart. I'm not sure I was able to comprehend it all. Oh, Kat Schreier. Sam Briggs,
Did not compete
6'2".
Masters this year.
Sam Briggs she's not a Masters this year. She's 40, right? And so she finished which sixth, seventh?
Yes,
That's-
seventh. I think seventh. Seventh.
Hey, is her 2K faster than yours? Is that why you rode the 2K?
Her 2K is definitely faster than
She lapped me. She lapped me on the 2K. She lapped me.
you.
Do you think Sam Briggs could beat you doing a one-arm 2K and you got to use both?
No, I don't think so.
Thank you, Brian.
Good man.
80% of eligible Masters athletes went to the semifinals last year and only 51% this year.
I know so.
How come?
How come what?
How come the participation has dropped so much this year?
In terms of
Did I understand that right?
I thought open participation for age groups went up this year.
And I just said something that doesn't make sense too. This was the first year the Masters had a semifinal, and yet I'm also suggesting that 80% of eligible Masters athletes went to semifinals last year and only 51% this year. So those two don't. Somewhere I have my facts wrong. Somewhere I'm spreading misinformation. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Anyone?
I think he just called it as the AGOQ, just the qualifier in general. I think so. That means past the open. I don't think he specified between semifinal, quarterfinal.
Okay. Well, let me rephrase it. Did we have a decline in
I could
participation
be
this year?
wrong.
well, maybe, but this actually addresses someone else in the comments who is, I think, missing something about this stage of the season. Also, is the number of participants for each Masters division in the age group online qualifiers in the past was capped at 200. Now, this quarterfinal stage of competition for the Masters divisions is 10% of the open registrants. So the quarterfinal registrants that we talked about earlier, the 1,200 plus in the 35 to 39, means that there were 10 times that many in that division that were competing.
Okay.
And then the same thing for the, whereas the total number of participants in the men's 60 plus was basically equivalent to the Masters quarterfinal participants for 35 to 39 at 1,200.
Okay. That makes sense.
So to this statistic, out of the top 200, a higher percentage would participate than the top 1,200.
Right.
That does make sense.
And that doesn't mean necessarily there were more last year. Even though it was a smaller percentage, there still were probably more
participants, but a lower percentage because so many more people were eligible to participate.
If I wanted to get into watching the Masters this year, what's the division to watch? Is it the men 35 to 39? Is it the women 35 to 39?
I think in terms of the highest level of competition and the most people at that level that have the chance to win, it's the men 35 to 39.
Or maybe you go over to where Rebecca Voigt is. She's making her 14th games appearance, the most in history, and she's in the 40 to 44 women. You can see pieces.
There's at least a half a dozen divisions that I would say are definitely worth watching, and probably more than that. But if you're asking for only one, you're looking at men's 35 to 39, just between Sam Dancer, Roy Gamboa, Craig Kenny, Giannis Papadopoulos, and Julian Serna, you're going to see a bunch of incredible stuff. And the other five guys I don't know as well.
I remember Papadopoulos competed, or he did the age group qualifier last year. Why didn't he compete in Masters?
He, how old does it say that he is?
I thought he competed in Masters. I could be
I
wrong.
think this is his.
Oh no, maybe he didn't.
First year, he qualified
You're
for the
right.
strength and depth semifinal this
Sorry.
year as an individual, and he decided to pursue Masters instead, and he took second place in the semifinal behind Sam Dancer. So he's, he probably feels like he has a pretty good chance at the podium.
Are these? Sorry to swerve into this lane, but are these guys tested?
Not yet. They will be tested some of them at least will be tested at the games, but I don't think, James, you can correct me if I'm wrong here, I don't think there's been any testing, at least like in competition. Maybe some of these guys are on the testing list that get randomly tested out of competition.
Yeah, and that I don't know unless they are. I still get those testing list emails. I'd be flattered if someone looked at me and said, "Hey, I bet you're on steroids," because I'm still just a skinny dweeb. But
you are so not a skinny dweeb.
I still get those emails, but it's definitely possible some of these guys are on that list. Especially, I would say any athlete who's competed at the games before as either a Masters or an individual. But yeah, they'll probably be tested at the games. I'm trying to remember how far down they tested last year. I think they tested down to 4th or 5th for 35 to 39. I'm not 100% sure on that. So don't get mad at me, comments. You can get mad at me, comment. I don't care.
But none of these, like this whole list of slew of people we're seeing pop in teams and individual. Nothing like that in Masters. No one's popped over there.
No, that's not true at all.
Well,
they have popped. Some Masters have popped.
No.
Yeah, they
not
tested
this
down
year,
to
not this year.
Yeah,
They haven't done
last
any
year.
testing this year.
Oh.
Yeah.
But historically, there are a lot more drug failures in Masters divisions than anywhere else.
Wow, this is a new one. Look at this. Roydbart. Hey, do they get some sort of exemption as a master? Like, can you be on some sort of like testosterone replacement therapy or anything like that as a Masters? Can you be on anything?
I don't
Different
so.
list of no. You still got to be just a normal human.
I mean, you could probably get a waiver if you're really jacking your Metamucil servings up to through the roof. Maybe get like a exemption. No, I don't think you can have an exemption for any testosterone replacement therapy. But
Brian, if I wanted to watch a Lynn Knappman 60 to 64,
this is actually an amazing division. Yeah,
compete in the 2022 CrossFit Games. Can I watch this?
Yeah.
I mean, I can buy a ticket and go watch it, right?
I don't know what level of coverage they'll have for the Masters this year. I would hope so. Like, these people are definitely worth watching, in my opinion, but I don't know.
Pull up this list. Why do you say that this is an amazing list or going to be an amazing competition?
There are several women in this competition who are quite good. First of all, there's a woman who won the division, Shelly Chapel, who I don't have a ton of familiarity with, but she won this thing basically going away. However, the girl behind her, Pat McGill out of Canada, has competed at the games before.
Dude, that lady has my build, 5'5", 160.
She's a two-time podium finisher. Debbie Downing's been to the games before. Mary Beth Prodromitis is a two-time Masters champion. Lynn Knappman, obviously, we talked about already. Pauline Siasia, who finished 10th in that division, has podiumed at the games. So even though it's only 10 women competing there, there's at least 5 of them that I know from their competition history at the games already that are quite impressive. And then this new woman, Shelly, who seems to be the one to beat. She won that division by 64 points in the semifinal.
And how old is Lynn? What age is she coming into this division at?
62.
There's no way Shelly is. How old does she say she is?
Shelly Sheffel, 62 also.
Crazy.
Damn.
That's what health and fitness will do. Yep.
Yeah, she's a right shit house. Let's look at other pictures of her. Crazy. Damn.
I mean, most people that like have trouble just lunging with no weight due to like stability and sedentary, issues, and she's over. I mean, look at that.
And you're saying most.
Yeah, like 98%, 99.8%, all of them.
Probably higher than that, yeah.
Victor says she's taller than me. Thanks, Victor.
Thanks, Victor. Oh, Craig.
Hey, I'm going to update my CrossFit Games profile to make me like 5'9", just to really confuse.
Oh, she has like an old picture with the Liver King, it looks like.
Where?
Or someone has a picture. Shelly Chapel has a picture, or there's a picture of like old school Liver King on there.
Where? How far down are you?
I can't wait to see what Hobart's talking about. I can't wait.
There's like a South Texas.
Oh, shit.
It's not her. I don't know who the lady is.
Oh, that's
Liver
him.
Queen. That's Liver Queen.
That's Liver Queen and King.
Dude, what a find. Let me introduce Brian. So this is Shelly Chapel, Shelly Chapel, 60 to 64-year-old athlete's Instagram account. Brian was saying she's the lady to beat in this division this year to become the fittest in the world.
Well, based on her semifinal performance. But, I mean, Mary Beth Prodromitis is amazing, and she's always in contention.
Let me introduce Brian and Barbara, owners and founders and creators of Ancestral Supplements. Concerned customers always want to know original author. Wow.
You know what's interesting is like, look for
his name is Brian.
Yeah, Brian.
Yeah, his name is
Johnson.
Brian Johnson. Yeah,
he ate that dude. Look at his body.
His last name is Johnson.
Yeah,
he's so lucky.
It's almost like the starting of the Liver King. Like he's small for Liver King there in that photo.
Well, he's just. I don't know. He looks the same size.
He's like Liver Duke right here.
He's just older now, and his skin's more leathery. This is what a great find, Hobart.
Yeah, that really was 255 weeks ago. This photo was taken.
Brought me on here for a reason. That's over 5 years.
Wow.
Yes, please call me James Johnson.
Oh, great. Bruce Wayne's in the house. Did Liver King pop for PEDs? No, absolutely not. So Brian, we don't know if we can watch this division.
I think that you'll definitely be able to watch most of it, and I'm hopeful that they'll have coverage for all of it.
Do you think Souza could find coverage from last year if he went on, like if he started Googling around on YouTube?
Yeah, I already found it actually when I was looking for the legless rope climb from that division, and there's
also there is a brief amount of coverage on your Instagram Live, I think.
That was the last day you worked at the games, right?
Hey, by the way, that was the best coverage that they had. That was intimate.
No, it was just specks moving around on green, hazy.
Did you know he got fired for filming you, Hobart?
No, but I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Did you know that?
No, I think I did know that.
He got fired even when supposedly my friend Dave Castro was the head of the games, and I didn't even have enough pull to save Brian.
Look how that turned out.
You might think that I had Brian fired on purpose so he could work for me the rest of the week if you were a conspiracy theorist.
If you were.
He pointed his phone at Hobart and got fired.
You know what? It ended up being
And
a great
Hobart
week.
looked like you, like just like a speck going across the screen. Brian, you've broken the rules.
Shitty internet.
Oh my god.
Someone just wrote in the comments, the only roids Hobart has ever had are hemorrhoids.
True. Hashtag truth. Wow. A
Nick's
guy
got
named
some
Nick
zingers.
Alligator.
Yeah, he's got some.
That's devastating.
Hey, Nick, you go both ways. I know you do. I see you looking at me in that picture.
That's a sassy photo.
Ooh, he's sassy. What about what about Becca Voigt? Oh, look at Cheryl Brose too. She's competing. She's 50.
Susan, I think it's better to look at the semifinals leaderboards where you can actually see the standings that they had. If you go where it says games semifinals and it's short by age group.
Thank you. Take
under
control of the
LCQ.
show, Brian. The show's out.
Well,
of
then
control.
in the other one, they're not there. They're only in the order that they've where it says LCQ. Susan, do the drop down menu age group. Yeah. Because then if we go to the women's 40 to 44 division, which Sevan's talking about now, then we can actually see who the top finishers were there, and you can see the points gap. So like this woman, Kelly Friel, is unbelievable. I saw her just decimate a Masters competition at strength and depth during sanctionals one year. How old is she? Yeah, she's towards the end of this division. She's 44, the oldest you can be, and she still won that by over 50 points. So
where are these people coming from? Was she in the CrossFit Games?
Oh
as
yeah,
an individual?
yeah. No, she's done I think 3 times.
Oh, wow.
3 times games. She's think worse. Yeah, first, second, and second are her finishes at the games 2018, 19, 21. So the 20 there was no master. So the last 3 seasons in this division, as she's continued to get older, she's continued to get better. Second, and first, and now she's a favorite coming in again.
Are you shocked when you see people, or are there any people who are in the men's and women's 35 to 39 category who were not individuals at the games?
Yeah.
There are? And is that shocking?
No.
Like, I would think it would just be filled up with people like Hobart, people who have already been at the games. How can that not be? What happens to the games athletes? They get too tired. They get burnt out. How is it filled with people who've never been to the games? How is a 50-year-old person who's never been an individual in the games now make it into the Masters competition?
Well, that's a totally different question than the 35 to 39.
Yeah, the 50 is like they're just not, they're not.
There's a ton of
50
different
yet.
potential answers for 50.
Okay, well, give me 30. Let's start with 35 to 39.
Do you have a thought, James?
I don't on that one. I think
Where,
it's,
like,
well,
what,
I think
do you
it's
get what I'm
happening.
saying?
I
Where are
also
they
think-
coming from? Where were they training, and why weren't they individuals? And how are they beating guys who've been in the sport for 10 years and who were individuals?
Yeah.
Well, because I think there are some of them who are just probably starting to train in their maybe later 20s, earlier 30s, and they're really fit athletes and now acclimating and training well in CrossFit. I think there are a lot of individual athletes who competed previously in the games, turned, aged up into the 35 and just aren't competing in Masters. Yeah.
So, like, just to give you an example, there's this guy who's placed 9th that I've never seen his name before. His name is Brett Stanhope in the 35 to 39. It's an incredible, impressive performance. He finished 1 spot ahead of Craig Kenny, 2 spots ahead of Frederick Gideus. Well, this is his first year of eligibility, and his best ever open finish was 599th in the world in 2019. And then last year, he qualified for individual quarterfinals in North America, and as the oldest, as a 34-year-old, and he placed 271st, which is pretty good actually. So he has been doing the Open at least since 2014. He's got a lot of years of training under his belt. He was, never good enough to make the regionals when it was, a lot harder.
Brett Stanhope, Souza, number 9, Brett Stanhope.
Thank you.
But this year he aged up into that division. And he didn't actually do very well in the Open at all, 228th, but then in the online qualifier, 17th. So you're trying to look at a guy like maybe he wasn't, he was saying, well, this might be my best year, my first year as a 35 to 39. And maybe he's been tailoring his training for 2 seasons to make sure that he would have the best chance to make it this year. And he barely got in. So that's a possibility that someone who's 33, 34 realizes I'm never going to make it as an individual, but that first year at 35 might be my best chance. And if enough of those people are that invested in making that their best chance to make a run at it, a couple of them will probably get through.
What would that look like hypothetically? You're 32 years old. You just get out of playing in the NFL for 4 years. You're an amazing fucking athlete. You can do everything, but you can't handstand walk, you can't snatch, and you can't do double unders. And so you have to start working on those things for the next 3 years to get to that high level. By the time you're 30, now you're 35 because you've been working on it from 32 to 35, and then you make it into the Masters? I mean, is that what it looks like? You're just an amazing athlete, but you have some super duper glaring holes?
Or you're just a guy like this that's, very fit and been doing it for nearly a decade, that decided to go all in for one shot, and he made it.
He has been doing it a decade?
Well, and his games profile, it says his first Open was 2014. I'm not 100% sure always that the games website is accurate, but I think it's getting better.
And he may have been in the military or a hockey player or whatever. We have no fucking idea. That was keeping him from being a hardcore CrossFitter.
Yeah, but you have another example of a guy in this division. His name's Brian Wong, and he's been competing for a long time as well. First Open listed is 2015. He's actually finished 81st and 91st worldwide in the Open before, and he's a 3-time regional competitor. He's competed in the Central Regional back in 2016 through 18. Never finishing better than 16th, but he's been like 16th in a regional is very, very good.
Hey, something's not right here. Sorry, Hobart. Do you have to use the bathroom while I talk about this part? How the fuck is that a Wong?
Okay.
No Wong can grow a beard like that.
Okay.
Okay. Anyway,
can I see that guy's Instagram account?
Yeah,
That's
I'm bringing it up right
appropriation.
now.
I want to see
Please
that.
don't.
and last year he was 145th in quarterfinals, which is, just very, very fine margins away from making a semifinal. So even though he's never made the games, his resume adds up to the fact that he could have had a potential this year, and not only to make, he did very well, finishing third.
Yeah, definitely. They spelled his name wrong. Something's not making sense here. Why didn't Hobart oh damn. Jeffrey, you're getting fucking spell checked by fucking the
That's
boss.
kind of cool. Screenshot that, Jeffrey. That's cool.
It's the only time Rich is ever going to talk to you.
Yeah. Might as well. Post it.
What happened to Brian? What happened to James Hobart this year? When we had him on early in the year, he did say he was going to be going to Masters 35 to 39. He did make it seem like he was going for sure. And
James
now he's
Hobart?
and now he's sitting here with us. What do you think happened?
I thought he was kind of taking this year off and really investing a lot in the CAP programming, but we should ask him.
Thanks, Brian. I appreciate that.
Hobart, what happened? Is it your training, or did that division get too hard, or both?
I think it's both this year. Yeah, underprepared. Definitely didn't train to compete in the semifinal, quarterfinal process and the games. So, yeah.
I think he called up Giannis Papadopoulos. He's like, "Yo, you're going Masters individual." He's like, "Masters," and he said, "Yeah, I'm taking it."
I'm out, man. Screw that, to be honest.
But seriously, James, we had talked to you, and you were having visions of grandeur of winning that division this year.
Yeah, I really, I love competing. I really wanted to compete, and I hate this excuse because I don't think it does justice to all of the competitors who beat me and made it. It just, as the rest of the year wore on, training was not my focus, for whatever reason. And that's just kind of how it shook out. And then also the level of competitors in the division has gone up, is only going to go up. The qualifying process is clearly harder. They go from a field of 20 down to 10. So I think all of those things.
So you're saying that your desire didn't match your training. You're saying you could have trained significantly harder and better.
100%.
Okay. I don't think that's arrogant at all. I don't think it's a dig at the athletes. I mean, everyone knows it's hard. These things wane. This isn't like fighting. It's not like you lost a fight on fight night. I don't think it's rude.
But I think I realized over this last year, like, I love CrossFit. I love competing. Grateful for what the sport's given to me. And there's a lot of Masters divisions left. So it's like, I don't see this as like my horizon, like my view of the horizon has definitely changed in the sense is like, I used to see it as if I don't compete this year, I'll never compete again. And I don't feel that way anymore, which is cool.
This actually is a good, because Sevan has often asked the question about the ability for individual athletes to, compete hard, take time away, and come back and compete hard and be relevant again. And while I would acknowledge that that's up for debate in the individual or elite category, in the Masters division, that's common practice for a lot of athletes, where you'll see them compete 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, they're nowhere to be found. 45, boom, they're back on the scene.
And are they licking their wounds then, you think?
Well, it's probably a combination of just the it's difficult. Like these divisions are competitive. These athletes are very, very good, and it's kind of a long season. Probably also just has to do with lifestyle things, depending on kids, jobs, whatever else. And then lastly is how difficult it is to qualify for those divisions for 99% of people if they're in the last 2 years of the age division.
And I think too, as masters, especially in the later age divisions, like being healthy is a huge part of it. Like if you stay healthy the whole year, your chances go up significantly. But I've talked to, like Brian said, a handful of athletes who are like, hey, training was going great, got injured, taking the next year off, and then they come back an entire year later and then make it again. I think that's way different than we see at like the elite men and women level.
Just pushing through injury, just fighting with it, dealing with it, whatever.
Or just being, looking at the timeline of it as, hey, it's okay to take a year off and make it better and then come back rather than like try to just keep pushing and making it worse.
Do you think there's anyone who do the winners of these divisions? Let me go a step further. Let me take this back a second. When you competed, one of the things that you said to us was there was a different kind of camaraderie amongst you guys. Is that because the level of competition isn't taken as serious, or is it because there's fewer of you? Or
I still felt like when we went out onto the field, it was very serious. I think what changed, at least for me in the warm-up area, there's still like some like, I don't know, kind of like looking out of the corner of your eye at people. Like everyone is still competitive who's there. But it's like our life doesn't depend on it, or like, and I shouldn't, even the individual athletes, like these guys are trying to make a career, out of competing in CrossFit. And, it's like I've lived that life and my career is in something totally different than competing. So I think that takes a lot of the edge off. And a lot of people there are like that. But I think when you step onto that floor, it's like people are still super competitive. Like no one out there wants to lose. And no one out there is just like, well, I bought a Porsche last week, so I can just mail this workout in. Like, no, they're super competitive people. But the fact that it's like not the end of the world, or their life doesn't change if they don't win or lose.
Yeah, it's not
they're not gonna lose their Nova Labs protein contract, win or lose.
Yeah, I mean that's my take of it. Maybe different masters out there have a different take of it. So,
Brian, do you have a favorite division that you're gonna watch this year, or are you gonna watch them all? What does someone do if they want to watch this and you can't watch them all? What do you suggest? What are the top groups?
Well, the one nice thing about the fact that there's only 10 athletes is that there's only one heat per division. So if there's a particular division that you want to watch, the hope is that there will be some coverage of it. And that even if you're, the hard thing is that if you're at the games, a lot of the things are going on at the same time. And I'm not sure exactly what the schedule will look like this year, but there's usually some overlap where, there'll be team events going on out on North Park, and then they have something going on in the Coliseum for the Masters, or the other way around. And so it's very difficult if you're there to split your attention. At home, you could potentially have 2 screens going and stream both events. But also if you have a division that you really like, you can probably just kind of scroll through. Ideally, CrossFit would make a little drop-down menu that says like, event 3 for the Masters, and it has a breakdown by division. And is it sex?
Yeah, thank you.
I just didn't want to get it wrong.
Yeah,
well done, Brian.
You never know.
Is it the first time you said that word?
No. I almost said gender, which is completely different thing.
Taboo on this show.
Sevan would have gotten way off track.
Yeah.
You might have put the vest back on, and I don't know.
So you don't have a favorite division. You can't give us like, hey guys, this is the division to watch. Like you want to get into some master shit, you want to see some trippy shit. This guy right here is the guy to watch.
No, there are several. It's honestly, it's hard for me to pick one. On the women's divisions,
I would pick the oldest and the youngest. I would probably pick the oldest because I think it would be have the most like wow factor now. Because if you watch the 35 to 39 division, and I do like the fact that it's only one heat, but if you watch the 35 to 39 division, it's going to slowly creep in. I could just switch the channel and watch the real guys get at it. But if you watch the fucking old ladies go at it, you're going to see some shit that you're going to be like, oh, fuck, I don't know if I can do that.
Yeah, for the women, if you want, I would probably say the 60 to 64 on the older end of things is probably the one to watch. We already talked about that one. But 55 to 59 is pretty good, too. There's a few athletes in there. Joanne McCullough dominated the semifinals, but also Linda Elston and Lori Machiznik have a ton of experience in the Masters divisions. And there's this pretty cool woman who's in the women's 65 plus, Pia Gund. She's been to the games 4 times. She's finished 4th or 5th every time, and she was the winner of the semifinal this year. So it could be a breakthrough for her after in her 5th time as a Masters athlete.
And she's the oldest in that category, right? At 64.
No, she's in the 65 plus now.
Oh, okay.
67.
66.
That's the division you can go watch.
Yeah. Hey, who is the oldest?
72.
Wow. Who is the oldest person at the games this year, Brian?
That woman, the 72-year-old, who was it? And I think she's the second oldest ever to compete at the games. I think that was in Chad's article as well.
You think marijuana? She's from the Netherlands.
You
think marijuana's her secret?
Right. What was that, James?
Was it Jacinto was the oldest?
Who?
It was in there. He definitely addressed it.
You mean the oldest of all? I'm talking about the oldest this year, not the oldest of all time.
Yeah, but I think she's also the second oldest of all time.
Yeah, Jacinto Bonilla, 73 in 2012.
Wow. So he's 83 now.
He just posted it's up because I still think he goes to CrossFit
Black Box in New York?
No, I think he goes to South Brooklyn now, David Osario's gym, I think. Because I think he was recently celebrating a birthday. I just saw a post about him. Yeah, 83. He looks amazing for, I don't know, maybe he looks like what 83 is supposed to look like, but if I look like his 83 when I'm 53, I'll be really happy.
I did try to get him on the podcast.
Is David Osario the one that does the ice showers, cold showers every morning with Boz? They'd have the skeleton.
They did that for a
tattoos.
while. I don't know if they still do it.
I was tempted to ask Adrian about that on a press conference, but it seemed too serious.
No, you should ask him.
But
I have a couple questions here. Which country dominates the Masters?
He might tell me I'm being too pedantic.
Ouch. Wait. Oh man.
oh man.
We're healing wounds. We're healing. We're here. What country's dominating the Masters, Brian?
USA. There's a lot of diversity across all of them, but there's by far a huge percentage of United States. And you can especially see that when they do things like the opening ceremonies, and you see that obviously they have the most individual athletes, but it's a dominating group compared to everyone else. And that's because of the Masters divisions.
Did I see a Russian flag up there?
No, if anything, it would be a white square or rectangle.
Okay. I thought I saw a Russian
Which
flag.
one?
Go scroll down. Scroll, keep going.
No, that's the end of it there. That's the men.
We talked about who is the oldest. We had Terry at 72. Who's the oldest athlete here who has also competed as an individual in the games?
Probably going to be for the women. It's probably going to be in the 40 to 44 division.
Oh no, I saw Cheryl Brose
competed as an individual. I think she's in the 50-year-old
She's in this
division.
Year. Oh yeah, she was second in the 50 to 54 behind a woman that I think is a rookie at the games. That could be a fun one to watch because this is a perfect example. A 50-year-old named Tia Gebby who won the semifinal. She's been doing the Open for a long time, but she's got no games experience. She did do the individual. What? Tell us. She did the individual quarterfinals this year in North America at 50 years old and finished 508th.
Wow. Out of how many?
1,000, probably 3,000.
Wow.
That's crazy.
That is crazy.
And Cheryl Brost is an absolute savage as a competitor, and they were actually pretty close. So if you want to see probably going to be a great competition between the two of them. Oh, Julie Ackerman made it again.
So that's the oldest one we know of. Let's see. Go up one more age. I want to see if Hobart or I or Brian or you recognize any names here, Souza.
Men or women?
Women. Let's just go up to 55 and over.
Sorry.
I know a bunch of these women. I don't think they ever competed as individuals in the games, though.
I don't recognize any of these. Do you recognize any of these names, Hobart?
I don't.
Okay, let's check the men.
I feel like Amy Simpson's a name that I know, but that's just probably because I saw the word Simpson and I don't know who that is.
Okay.
Never been to the games before.
Great name for a gym.
What was it?
Do more CrossFit.
Do more CrossFit. Jake's the coach.
Let's go to the men. 15.
I think he meant a Monster Energy drink.
Oh yes, sorry.
Yes.
Brian's on fire tonight.
Let's Susan, can we see?
I think Sevan mistook the flag for the Netherlands as the Russian flag.
Hey, that is very possible. Let's see the men 50 to 55, please. 50 to 54.
Men 50 to 54.
Let's see if we recognize any of these guys.
Actually, I haven't done this statistic, but I would be willing to bet that combined 1 through 10, this has the least games experience of any division 40 plus.
This division
I don't
right here.
recognize a lot of these names.
Go down in age division. It's definitely not going to be older than this, I don't think. Jason Grubb. A lot of people have been telling me to get him on the podcast. This guy, Jason Grubb.
Well,
Oh,
he's an animal.
Yeah.
We've had a lot of requests for him.
Hey, Sevan, there is a Russian flag in this division.
You see it?
Yeah, it's right
No,
here.
it's just white.
This blank spot.
Jason Grubb, he's never finished off the podium at the games, and he's won it the last 2 times he's competed.
Yeah, but Yuri Hansen, he's on seminar staff. He owns CrossFit Billings up in Montana.
This will be a fun division, actually.
Keep going down. I want to see if there's anyone else I recognize in this division. For
I know
the
Alan.
men.
And Mike Dudevar was a local affiliate owner in Northeast.
Mike Kern has placed second
Yeah, Mike
in
Kern.
Masters divisions twice. And obviously this guy from Russia, Vlad Lyashkovich, won this category by 50 points in the semifinals, but no previous games experience.
Well, and when we see these guys on this list, does that mean that they're coming? Like, are these all people who've signed the paperwork? I'll see you there. See you in Madison.
Paid their dues.
Not necessarily, but if you go to the games site.
Okay.
Oh,
Before
no,
we do that, I want
yes.
to go
on
down.
this list. Yes.
Before we do this, I want to go switch. I want to go down one more. I want to see when we finally see a man we recognize who competed as an individual. Go ahead and go to 40 to 44. Man, I still don't see one.
I'll tell you what, this guy, Michael Leverrier.
I think Yuri Hansen competed as an individual.
Okay, let me check.
Check.
He
was
just
in
said
the
he's going
40.
to check. He just said he's
He
going to check.
did.
You can't
Did
tell
he
him to
check?
check when he said he's going to check.
He did.
And what's
He
the
named
result?
year.
2013.
2012, Yuri Hansen, 44th place at the CrossFit Games.
Boom.
He was 3 spots behind Brandon Swan. Oh, he was 2. That was second to last place.
There you go.
And this guy's
He's
in
a
the 45.
beast.
Okay, so this is the oldest guy
That we know of.
that we
I
know
think
of.
I think he's probably right. Very nice, James.
And the woman was Cheryl Brost. Interesting.
When was the last time Cheryl did that? Cheryl Brost, 3-time games competitor. Best place finish was in 2011, where she was 7th. And the last time she competed was also 2012, when she was 15th. That's kind of cool. So both Cheryl Brost and Yuri Hansen competed in 2012, and they are the oldest respective that we're aware of that competed as a Masters. And on the women's side individually, there are 2 athletes who made their games debut in 2012 who are still competing now in individuals, Cara Saunders and Turi Helgadottir.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. I just saw that pop up somewhere.
Wow, that's good stuff. Can we talk about the kids for a second?
Yeah.
We're not doing a kids show, right?
No. We can. This is age groups.
Okay. Did Olivia Kerstetter make the right decision? I was reading in that in Schroeder's a piece on the Morning Chocolate that she may be, as an individual woman, she's one of the strongest women on the field, and yet here she is competing with the teenagers.
I think that she definitely made the right decision because it's a decision that she made. And I think it's important that her and the people close to her had that conversation and did what they felt was best, regardless of if she could have made it as an individual or not. If they felt this was the right decision, I'm fully supportive of that.
Hobart, do you have a less politically correct response? Like, fuck that. She's just going down there to bully the kids.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Slam dunk on it a little bit.
A win's a win, baby. A win's a win.
I don't think for her, right? Like looking at her talent, her strength, and clearly how committed she is to it. Like, what does another year in the teen division doesn't hurt her? It only helps her.
Yeah,
right.
Lots of experience and everything.
You know,
But well, what Sousa said, lots of experience, but it would be experience that she got on the big stage if she went as an individual. She could go there, not put a lot of pressure on herself, feel it out.
but maybe she doesn't want to. Maybe she doesn't want to do that.
Well, clearly.
No, I mean like ever. Like maybe she gets this last just crushes these guys, these young ladies.
Well, she still has one more year of eligibility after this.
No shit, she's only 16.
Yeah, the first year that she was eligible to compete as a teenager was 2020 when there wasn't a games for them. Last year she won it, and this year she'll most likely win it. The only person who has, I think, a chance is Trista Smith, but I want to give her a big chance.
So let me see. Open Olivia's again. Let me see how old she is.
16.
Wow. So we could see her again in the teen division. Okay, so she is really young. So this does make perfect sense. She's too young.
I think Emily Rolfe's sister is in this division.
Haley.
I think so.
Yeah, who's the 17-year-old in this division?
Who is 17? Well, there's more than one, but the girls that finished third and fourth in the qualifier, Yadja and Sophia Shaft, they are also pretty good. They're both 17.
There's actually a lot of 17-year-olds in this division.
And yeah, majority of them will probably be 17.
Yeah, they are.
Holy
17,
crap.
17, 16, 17, 17, 16, 17.
There might be it might actually be a 6-4 split.
16,
it's a lot
16.
more divided than the men's side where it's 9-1.
Tomorrow we're having Rebecca Fuselier on the show, and one of the things I really want to get into with her is when they go to these teams, like, are they really pumped up? Like, are they as excited to be at the CrossFit Games as the individuals? I'm guessing the answer is yes, right? Like, they're pumped out of their mind. They can't even believe it, right? They know they're going to the competition to be crowned the fittest teenager alive. And so that's another reason why would they go do individual when they can get that same high from competing in their class. So,
yeah, for sure.
Right.
Being on the competition for it all. And even if it's just a smaller group there, that's friends and family and everything else. I mean, you're still going to get that same drive and everything. And then they're going to get the experience. And a lot of them have a long future ahead of them too. With the curse setter and everything else.
Do they test these?
Sevan.
Yeah.
Online semifinal workout 4.
Are you reading someone's comment?
No, I want you to do this workout with the 16-year-old girls weight.
Okay.
This is workout 3, sorry. It's 10 snatches at 75. 10
hold on. 10 snatches at 75.
10 you rest a minute after that.
With the dumbbell, right? Alternating hand dumbbell?
No, barbell.
Oh, okay.
Then you rest a minute. Then you got to do 10 snatches at 95 pounds.
115s is 1 rep max, right?
And then you rest a minute. And then you do 10 snatches at 105. And then you rest a minute. And then in the remaining time, this is all on a 10-minute clock. In the remaining time, you do as many snatches at 125 as possible. And I want to see if you can beat Olivia.
The weights go up 20 pounds, 10 pounds, 20 pounds?
20 pounds, 10 pounds, 20 pounds. Yeah.
So it's 1 minute. Does the 1 minute rest count as part of the 10 minutes?
Yes.
So
3 minutes of rest.
Unless I'm mistaken, Olivia's score in this workout was 80 reps, which means she did 50 snatches at 125.
In what time frame?
That 10 minutes. Go to women, turn that to women 16 to 17.
I don't even understand the fucking workout.
You're struggling.
Here it is right here.
I don't.
Just look
This
at
is it. Look at this workout. Look at
10
this workout.
snatches, rest 1 minute, 10 snatches, rest 1 minute, 10 snatches, rest 1 minute, then as many snatches as you could get with the remaining time of your 10 minutes.
Yeah, but what is the remaining time?
However long it takes. So if each one of these takes you 30 seconds, like let's just say for the easy math, or a minute, it'd be 2 minutes, 4 minutes, 6 minutes. You would have 4 minutes at your max effort snatch at 125.
And how many did she get?
50.
She got 80 total reps. So that means she got 50 at 125.
10 snatches
right?
at 75 pounds took her 12 seconds.
That's okay. But
I want to, if I'll do that and I just want to work up to a 1 rep max, the 120 at 125.
No, I'm only bringing that up to put in context for Sevan that she probably had closer to 6 minutes to do those 50 reps than 4 minutes.
Right. Settle in.
Okay.
Either way, you have no chance.
I'm going to do that tomorrow.
Are you ready?
What did the worst girl get?
That's fair. That's a good question. She got the worst girl.
The worst of 30 or the worst of the 10 that made the games?
The worst of the 10, but 30. The worst of 30.
40,
you guys hate me.
42 reps.
Why can't I do something the 65-year-old plus women do?
Because they can legless rope climb.
Right. Okay, I will. Someone
Exclusive
said
newsletter
that-
content. Exclusive
Yes.
newsletter content.
I will try this tomorrow. This is not going to be pretty though. I haven't.
Don't hurt
snatched in
your back,
forever.
please. We can't-
Yeah,
we got a big.
I'll coach.
month
I'll
ahead of
coach
us.
you. Stream me in.
you'll FaceTime
Oh,
me.
Perfect.
Oh, definitely.
James, I was disappointed you didn't comment on my snatching today. Maybe you haven't seen it yet.
I haven't seen it yet.
Okay.
I'll check.
I hadn't been able to snatch for a couple of months. It felt good to do it.
There's a.
Well, I'll definitely go look.
What about we haven't talked about the boys teen division. Why don't we talk about the boys teen division? There's just nothing impressive down there. There's this kid.
They just make us feel bad because they're 16 and doing 330.
Let me tell you
clean.
something. I will
Which is
talk about. I would like to
not
talk
good.
about the boys 16 and 17 for a minute because I actually know the guy.
Let's say man. My I got in trouble. I'm not allowed to say boy anymore. Let's say man.
This is just what it's called listed as on the game site. So anyone that's taking that has triggers to that word can take it up
Okay.
with the CrossFit Games.
Okay, fine. Boy, it is.
I will say this. I was trying to write something about a former teenage athlete the other day, and I couldn't. And I kept I was trying to write he was the best boy to ever compete in the teenage division, and it didn't sound right. So I do empathize with her in that regard. Anyway, in this the boys 16 to 17-year-old division, the top qualifier is a guy named Caleb McClure. He's 17 years old this year, and he trains at a gym in Central Illinois. And last year, I took two athletes that I coach down to Springfield, Illinois, to do a competition. It was a pretty good competition. I think the better one of those guys got either 4th or 5th. And this guy, Caleb McClure, at 16 years old, beat him.
Your clients, your two clients you took down there, grown men.
Yeah. This guy beat them both. He was competing with the men, and I think he got 4th. There were some pretty good competitors there, but if you didn't know he was 16, you would never have guessed it. And I remember the first year in Madison.
Yeah, he's a big dude. He's got some Dallin Pepper numbers. 6 feet tall, 193.
Yes.
193.
And I remember the first year in Madison, 2017, I was walking around, and the boys 16, 17-year-old division walked by me, and I was like, oh my gosh, like these guys are freaking animals. They are monsters. What James is saying is not any stretch of the imagination. Like they are so freaking good and so impressive physically. I think it's worth watching.
How about this guy, RJ Mestre? I saw a picture from the 14 to 15-year-old division. He would Chad Schroeder was saying that he's notable and worth watching. I saw a picture of him, and he looks like he's 8.
There's a big difference between the 14.
That is not what he looks like
and
in that
16,
little
17.
avatar. Yeah.
I'm finding it.
But basically, why Chad's singling him out here is because he won by almost 100 points in his semifinal, and he was 5th place the year before at the younger age division. And we've already mentioned that no 14-year-olds have even managed to qualify this year. So for him to take 5th, like every year at that, that idea that you have actually of having 4 divisions with 10 each, 14, 15, 16, 17, actually, the more that I think about that, the more that I like that. But anyway, that's why Chad thinks that he'll do really well.
Yeah, I like it too.
This is a cool division from the country perspective also. You have 4 from the U.S., but then you have 6 other separate countries represented: Paraguay, Mexico, Israel, Brazil, South Africa, and Jordan.
What country is this? Is he from?
Who?
This guy, this kid,
What's his name?
RJ.
It's USA.
US.
Okay. I click on that picture with that guy with his arm on his shoulder again.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a big fan of the asymmetrical haircuts. I like symmetry. I like symmetry. I just want to let you guys know that.
I'm glad that's why we zoomed in
sure.
on that picture.
It triggers me a little bit. It triggers me. Hey, he should dye his hair blue. We say, does Hobart have a CEO
I thought you were going to
shirt?
highlight the shirt that the younger man in this picture is wearing.
That's what I thought too. I was like, oh, it's
No,
another,
who's
another
selling
Mayhem
those?
guy.
No, they got. I see those
That's
shirts
Mayhem.
everywhere. That is Mayhem.
Yeah, they have like a bunch of them, right? Serve, pray, compete.
Yeah. Okay, I see them everywhere.
Yeah.
He's saying
buy
he's
one at the
praying.
games.
He's saying he's praying, or he's telling me to pray.
I'm gonna buy you one at the games.
Thank you.
I'm
And
gonna
what's
go
that?
visit the booth.
Why is there a period after that? Is that a sentence? Pray.
It's declarative.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Wow.
Period.
Hobart was when Hobart was had insider knowledge when that shirt was developed, when he was on the inside, when him and Rich were tight. When
That was actually my idea.
It was.
No.
Hey, James, are there keys?
Wow, royalty.
Does the barn lock?
Which one?
Oh, I don't know. I've never been
The
there.
the new fancy barn, or like
Yeah.
the old
It doesn't need to lock when you got
the
shotguns.
new fancy barn, the one that I just picture Haley just fucking destroying Guy and Metcon workouts in.
It's a retina scan.
So it doesn't lock.
No.
No, you never had a key to the barn. You didn't need one.
No.
Okay. How about did you need a scanner card? Was there anything like that? High tech like that?
No.
Yeah, that's some alpha shit right there. Okay, let's do this shirt. This will be the Sevan Podcast shirt. Pray.
I knew you were gonna say that.
It's good.
Oh my goodness.
Only 10 years until Trace Froning is winning the teen divisions. Only 10 years.
That would be cool.
Yeah, that would be cool.
If Rich's son came up and just started destroying shit.
Yeah, and like Rich is like still winning the 65 plus. And that won't be in 10 years. That won't be in 10. He'll be 40, 45, 46.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not even sure how to. This is why we miss Hobart. He just plays in. I don't understand. What's the most notable foreign master out of the United States of America?
That's a good question.
That is tough. I would say that a couple of the women we already talked about fall into that category, particularly Lynn Natman, who's from Australia, and why am I blanking on her name?
Just make a name up. No one's listening.
No. Pia Gund, I already mentioned, who's from Sweden, and Kelly Friel, who's from the UK. On the women's side, those are probably three really big ones. There is also a Canadian woman, Susan Clark, but she's not competing this year. She's undefeated in her lifetime career at the Masters. I think 5 for 5 now.
She does the year on year off thing, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Doesn't she do something like that?
Something like that, yeah.
Weren't we supposed to have Bill Grunler for the Masters show and Hobart for the team show? Did I fuck this up?
I thought it was just one show. I didn't know we were doing a breakdown of it.
No, we're doing a team show too, aren't we, Brian?
Yeah, next week.
Do we have a guest for that?
I don't know.
James Hobart.
Hobart? Do you know about teams, Hobart? I was supposed to. I know one of them I wanted to bring Grunler on.
No, bring me. I'm not biased either. Mayhem's going to win it all, but I would be a straight shooter.
Bill, are you listening? You want us to send you a link?
Don't send him a link, man.
I do want to have. I do want to integrate
It's
Grunler
like
more.
7 p.m. while you're there. He's asleep. He's been asleep for 2 hours.
He goes to sleep at 5:40. He shut down CrossFit San Luis Obispo and he went to sleep.
Oh God.
Oh Jesus, Nick. Oh Jesus. Nick's out of control in the
Too far, Nick. Too far.
Too far.
Whoa.
Nick.
Reel it in, buddy.
Yeah.
Reel it in.
Well, I'm excited. I don't know what else to say about the Masters. Anything else you want to bring up, Brian? Do we want to look at the 35 to 39 just to make Hobart?
I think that I think it's probably the most fun division to talk about, like who could potentially win it. I think that China Cho is a kind of a clear favorite on the women's 35 to 39. If this is a division that's interesting to you for the men, it's worth knowing that like Sam Dancer has been telling people for a majority of this year that his sole focus this year is to win this division. So far, I think he's perfect through every stage of competition, but that doesn't guarantee that he's going to win it. I think Roy Gamboa is as real a threat as anyone here. I mean, he's got a lot more experience at the games. He's been competing at a high level for like all the way up until last year, where he was still competing at the games as an individual. And so to your comment, Sevan, about that ability to take some time off and come back and really throw it down and be in contention. Now we have Roy, who's pretty much been consistently in the game and Sam, who was not for a couple of seasons and now has really, really recommitted himself to doing that. And I think those are probably the top two guys here. Not to say that there's not some others that could sneak in there, but
Was Gamboa in the games last year as an individual?
yeah, he was 34th.
Wow.
Yeah, he's so fit.
So Sam doesn't really have a chance.
Sam definitely has a chance. I think this is the most committed he's ever been to trying to actually win at the CrossFit Games. Just in terms of his lifestyle.
Is he healthy? Is he healthy?
Yeah. I mean, I don't think he'll.
Did
be
you
easy
watch
to
him
beat.
snatch 245 pounds like a toy?
No.
We're about to.
I think it was actually featured on the CrossFit Games.
Yeah, you got to send him
website,
that video.
Instagram, everything recently.
I think Craig Kenny could be really dangerous if he's healthy because Craig has always excelled at like if they do a swim or like a long run, and that's something they typically only test at the games. And
I feel like that's an insult. What you're saying? That's a passive aggressive insult.
No,
it's not a passive aggressive insult. It's the fact that they test those things at the games, and he's already really fit, going to do well elsewhere. And I think athletes who can be fit in mixed modality workouts, and then they have those outstanding run and swims.
Craig Kenny, at the games. Craig Kenny getting the last spot in this division is not what Roy Gamboa, Yannis Papadopoulos, or Sam Dancer wanted to see. Craig has actually outperformed all of them in his career at the CrossFit Games. He placed 11th and 27th the 2 years he's been there, which is, Roy's been to more games, but his best finish ever is only 23rd, which is, more than twice as bad as Craig's best ever. So James is right that Craig has some potential to do really well in that style of programming.
How about Carly?
Sevan?
How about you did? I like
not to mention that the year that he did that was 2014, which is quite a while ago. And my perspective of all the things Adrian Bosmans has said this year is that don't be surprised if there's some throwbacks to some old school style programming.
When I think of Sam Dancer, I think of a wounded lion.
How is what I said like a backhanded compliment, and you
or a rhino with a broken horn.
Damn.
Yeah, he's a rhino with like his. Can
I address comments?
His proboscis has been broken.
Go back to him in that thong. You think his horn's broken?
Ain't nothing broken about
I
that.
know someone wants to break their horn off in something.
I'll tell you this: that guy is a huge fan of the reverse hyper. By the way.
Clearly.
Yeah.
I don't know why he's wearing so much when he does it. What about Carlene? What about Carlene Matthews? She got some games experience. She's hardcore.
Savage.
Yeah, she doesn't fool around. Why can't she put it to China Cho? Did she ever beat China Cho at the games in her ranking? I mean, did China always finish ahead of her?
She finished nearly 200 points behind her in the semifinals. I mean, I haven't seen her compete in a while, but that's a staggering amount to make up.
Yeah.
And that's when you have 30 athletes in the field or close to it. There's only 10 athletes in the field. The points gaps are going to be extreme. And if China's taking, I just think it's going to be hard to beat her.
Is this the first year China's competing as a Masters athlete?
If there was someone in this field who could challenge to beat her, I would choose Amelia Lepinen.
Let's see.
Who also competed as an individual at the games last year. It's Yamakoski's girlfriend.
Oh, no shit. And is she from the country? Is Hapalappin from that country?
Yeah.
Oh, look at, she just has she has the last half of his last name.
I was just about to say
Henrik.
how cool it was to see in the 35-39 women, because the men is not like this year, the representation from different countries. And then Sevan hits us with that nice Hapalappin.
This ugly American.
God.
Yeah, that's actually cool.
Webster,
the third place qualifier in this division is from Iran. I doubt there have been very many competitors in any division from Iran at the games.
Sonny Webster will be joining us during the games, and then we'll do a long form podcast with them after the games. Let me see the Iranian lady.
Mariam Zangbach.
Has she been to the games before?
I don't think so.
What's the CrossFit gym in Iran? Is it in Tehran, in the capital? What do they got? Like one gym?
No, there's probably.
She is in the
Let's go look at the
occupational
CrossFit
games,
affiliate.
though. This is cool. 2021, she was the 19th fittest firefighter. 2022, she was the 3rd fittest firefighter. 2021, she was also the 36th fittest school teacher. So she's a school teacher and firefighter.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? That's cool. The ugly American in me thinks that there aren't any female firefighters in Iran, and of course I don't know shit. And there she is. And she was the fittest. What did she rank in the world in the
Third
occupation?
fittest firefighter this year.
Third?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Are any of those other girls in her? Or did the other two girls, are they going to the games? The first and second fittest firefighters in the world?
I'm not sure. I don't know. I actually don't know where to look up the results for the occupational games. They're just listed on her profile.
Crazy. She's gonna overheat with that thing on her head.
I think she's used to it.
I think she's pretty used to it, man.
Yeah.
Probably
How did she get
acclimated.
this far?
Good point.
Well acclimated.
Yeah.
That's a nice gym too.
Yeah, there's good movement quality also.
Yep.
No bats in the comments.
It's the
Straight
bats.
fire
Hey,
from
I haven't seen
hands
it.
clasped.
Bats are so 2021. I haven't seen a bat in forever. No one even
Really?
does it. No.
I posted a picture of my frisbee hanging on the side of the disc golf basket, and everyone was saying bat, bat, bat.
Oh, hey, I couldn't even figure out how that was hanging there.
Dude, that was crazy. It went through the chains, and it looked like it was going to stop on top of the thing and just sit there, and then it just rolled over, and it just hung on the outside of it.
But how did it hang? A frisbee's
There
flat
are,
on.
no, there are nubs, and then there's the brim, and so the brim of it just caught on the nubs on the side of the basket, and it was just hanging there.
Oh, the basket has nubs.
Yeah, and the frisbee has a rim. So the momentum was stopped so much by the chains that it looked like it was just going to sit there, and then it slowly ripped over the edge. It was going to fall out, and it didn't. It got caught on the little elevated parts on the basket.
There's always one. There's always one guy who has
And
to
guys,
figure everything
And
out.
people were sending me bat signals. I took a screenshot of myself doing wall balls from the workout Witten that it wasn't even, there's no way to know if it was the bottom of the rep or not. I got literally 100 messages saying no rep, no rep, no rep, Hiller, which I think that's the problem, is that it's become so excessive and so ridiculous that it's straying from what its original intent was.
I got that on.
Hey,
a
I don't
power
think you're
cleaner
allowed
coach.
to say. I don't think you're allowed to say nubs. By the way, I think that word's been.
That's what they're called. If you're on a playing disc golf course, they say you got nubbed.
No, nubs and taints. Corey Leonard.
How often have you been nubbed, Brian?
It's happened a couple times.
Taking a good nubbing before.
Happens to everyone out there.
And to answer Barney Roberts, except for my probably clean and jerk, they're pretty close benchmark stats right now.
Oh, right here.
I'm gonna give you guys a chance if you want to call in and.
And my strict press sucks right now too. Sorry.
And tell, what does that mean? How does your strict
Yeah. That's
press-
what I want to know.
What does
too.
that mean?
What's that number look like?
I don't know, body weight maybe.
What do you think Sam
Oh,
Dancer's strict
God.
press is?
Whatever he wants, man. I think it's cool that he kind of called. He didn't quite call his shot, but he kind of called his shot. I think that's cool.
Well, we're gonna find out, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he made it this far, which is impressive. You said you were going to go to the. You said you were going to win. You're not even.
I
there.
didn't even get considered for. Yeah.
You're not even on
Not
the
even
field.
close.
How much you weighing right now, Hobart?
I was 188 when I stepped on the scale this morning.
That's still a great strict press. One of my coaches just strict pressed 230 yesterday
That's so. People
for a
who
double.
can strict press a lot of weight. That's so
A
cool.
double.
I trained with a buddy who was a former power lifter and then started competing in CrossFit, and I saw him strict press 315, and it was one of the coolest things I've ever seen.
Wow. I want to highlight a few things that we talked about here. Things that if you are going to watch the Masters this year, or if you have zero fucking interest, still things that are just crazy impressive. You should find some footage of Lynn Knappman at some point. She's 60 to 64. This will be her 12th consecutive CrossFit Games. I'm definitely going to. I definitely would love to have her on the show. I'm definitely going to try to find her and watch her throughout the week. The times when I have been on the field and watched the Masters women compete, it is always this thing is just going on in my head. Shit, I can't do that. Can I do that? And it's remarkable. Another person you have to pay attention to this year is Rebecca Voigt. She competed 10 times as an individual, and then this is her 14th games, and she's in the 40 to 44, and she's a remarkable person. She won the Spirit of the Games award, and as much as she may have not been popular with the fans, she was extremely popular with the athletes and with the staff at the CrossFit Games. Everyone always loved her. You should watch the 16-year-old division. You should watch Olivia Kerstetter. You probably want to get on, as much as I was picking on her for not doing individual, you want to get on that bandwagon now. When she does come individual, you will appreciate her so much more if you watch her for the next 2 years as she does the teens division. And then, of course, there's Sam Dancer, who is an incredibly just lovely person. if you get a chance to ever meet Sam Dancer, you have to go up and say hi to him. He is not, you will not meet very many people in the world like him. He is like a fucking chinchilla. He is so soft and furry and yummy. And you just go up. Do not hesitate. And I think he's the part owner of Strong Coffee.
Yep.
And so he'll probably be over in that booth at the games, and you have to meet him if you make one stop and go over and just smile at him, shake his hand, like just get some of that mojo.
Can I add one to your list?
Please.
There's a guy in the 60 to 64 division named Will Powell, and he will be competing to try to win his 5th Masters title, which would tie him for the all-time record with Susan Clark for Masters championships. This will be his 9th time, I believe, competing in the Masters divisions, which is, I think that might be the most of any male athletes who've done it, and he's absolutely incredible to watch.
Can you pull up that class? Sorry, Souza. What class was that for the men? I want to make sure.
He's in the 60 to 64 now.
And he's also someone who just doesn't look 60 years old.
He was not the top qualifier, so it should be a competitive division. But I would.
Oh shit! He looks like James fucking Bond, like a. What is he? What's his ethnicity? He doesn't look like a William Powell. He looks like a Jose Garcia. Oh, looks that Chris Hinshaw 30 years ago next to him? What the fuck is that? It's fucking if me and Chris Hinshaw had a kid. Okay, I recognize this guy. He's won 5 games, Brian?
He's going for his 5th. He's won 4. He had 1.13 in a row.
Wow. Okay. And the thing you should know is in this division, we talked about this at the very beginning of the show, the younger guys win, period. Meaning, if you're in the 35 to 39, the 35-year-old wins. If you're in the 60 to 64, the 60-year-old wins. So when you're rooting for someone who's on the tail end of those weight classes, they have a significant disadvantage. The same way that a 14-year-old has a significant disadvantage over a 15-year-old. Disadvantage over a 15-year-old, the same thing starts happening as you get older. And so this woman, I don't even know this lady, but I'm going to watch her too. What was her name? Terry doesn't matter. Forward, backward, she's happy to be just mentioned. She's happy to be alive.
What age group was she in?
Women's the oldest category. She's 72.
Yeah.
Yeah, this lady has to be watched too. Terry Carey. And
she's 66.
It's the one right above her, Dinkoff from the Netherlands.
Oh, wow. Sorry. It's a joke. Dickoff.
Yeah, how do you pronounce it?
You forgot an N there.
I don't see an N. I just see Dickoff with a silent H. Okay.
How do you pronounce her first name?
Here's the thing you have to realize when you see this. You've never in your life seen someone 72 do what she's going to do at the games. Never. I don't know. This is like watching a fucking blue whale breach. I'm not fucking joking. If you are at the CrossFit Games and you paid for a ticket and you don't go watch Joke Dickoff compete from the Netherlands in the what's her age group?
65 plus.
65 plus. You're missing out. Why'd you buy a ticket? Why'd you go there? Do you want to see a blue whale fucking breach?
Seriously, can you go to the
Look at there's her name, CrossFitter Joke.
She was one of the 22 who was able to do legless rope climbs. Just think about that. All you people in your 30s out there who can't do a legless rope climb.
You will never see. You will go to the CrossFit Games this year, I promise you, and you will see the final. You will see the final event when Justin Medeiros beats Colton Mertens for first place. Colton takes second, and that won't be as exciting to you as watching this lady Joke compete. I'm serious. You believe me, Hobart?
Yes, I'm on board, man. You don't have to twist my arm.
You're going to see her pick up 2 fucking 50-pound kettlebells and fucking walk across the field or some shit and knock out 10 strict pull-ups, and your brain is going to fucking explode. And you will never see it again the rest of your life. A 72-year-old woman do the shit she's going to do there. She's going to do it with a smile on her face. I'm serious. Everyone should go to find that at the venue when you're there and go see that. It's like some Guinness Book of World Record, Ripley's Believe It or Not shit. It's like some Halloween shit. And her name, you get to chant in the crowd, Joke Dickoff, and it's going to be great.
Sevan, I gotta just have you take a look at one thing before we go.
Please, yes.
But James, go ahead. What were you gonna say, James?
No. Let's take a look.
Susan.
I'm not joking. I am not joking. I will someone tell you guys? You guys know I'm not joking.
I think it's a play on words.
Yeah.
Maybe he's thinking of the name.
Okay. So yeah, I'm not joking.
Okay. Go back to the 60-64 men, Souza.
Yeah.
And if you can, click on Gus van der Voort, who is not from the Netherlands but from the USA.
I know that. Yeah, it's soul. It'll be soul nourishing, Mr. Halpin.
60 to 64 men.
60 to 64 men. Gus van der Voort. Click on his name and then click on View Profile. I just need to get Sevan's reaction to this.
Mr. Grubb, stand by.
Oh, right.
Stand by.
Oh, Mr. Grubb's on the line? No, scroll back up. Sevan, how often have you seen a body that looks like this competing at the CrossFit Games?
That's what my body looks like. That's what I look like right there. That's me.
He's got some ab definition.
He's a brick shit house.
Yeah, what's his? Yeah,
This is a pretty unique body type to qualify for the games.
Agreed.
This is a brick shit house. This is exactly what I look like for all you girls out there wondering. And
you don't look like that, man. Take your shirt off.
And Jeffrey Birchfield, I know you've been wondering too. You just close your eyes and think about me, buddy.
That's what it pop the top.
And wait, there's someone else I gotta say. I definitely know who thinks about me with their eyes closed. Nick, this guy. Nick, there I am, buddy. That's me with my shirt off.
Take it in.
Yeah, look at this guy over here. Furman can't take his eyes off of Gus. Yeah.
I'm sorry, Sevan. I didn't realize we had someone on the line.
He's a man child. Okay. Mr. Grubb, Brian Friend is always courteous and doesn't want to bother athletes. Also doesn't want you waiting. How can I help you?
Guys, I don't know. Everyone in the chat just told me to call in. And as far as calling in, thanks for taking the call. And I appreciate you guys. Appreciate you guys giving Masters some face time, some airtime, because it's, we take the back seat in a lot of ways. And it's just great to see this. It's great to have you guys talking about us. We all dig it. We all like it. We appreciate the coverage, appreciate the conversation. And for me, I can't wait to go back and try to get on that podium again.
Mr. Grubb is so fucking square. Watch this. Mr. Grubb, you have placemats, don't you? You use placemats, don't you, at your house?
I do not. I do not.
Fuck you. You do too. I know your type. You have fucking glasses, and you only have button-up shirts, and you use placemats. My mom would love you. How fucking old are you?
Grubb will hammer you into the ground like a tent stake, man. You leave him alone.
Mr. Grubb uses fucking placemats. I can tell. I know this guy. He's got a cabinet in his house with like glass doors and glass cups in there that never get used and shit. He vacuums twice when it's not necessary. No one's been to his house in a week and he still vacuums.
You're describing my mom too.
This guy's so perfect. Hey, do you own an iron, Mr. Grubb?
I do not own an iron.
You have an iron, an ironing board, and placemats, and I don't appreciate you lying. Your Honor, the witness is being hostile.
I don't wear any clothes but workout clothes. There's no need, ever.
Oh, God. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from basically Denver, Colorado.
Well, thank you for calling in. How old are you?
46.
Damn, not even a master's. How long you been doing CrossFit? How long you been doing CrossFit?
About 8 years. I started at 38.
Yeah.
Pretty thick and chubby, and yeah, it's been a good run.
Pull up his Instagram real quick.
Yeah, let's judge his ass. Did you? So you started at 38. Okay, that's 4 years after I started. And was it too? Like I feel like I started just at an 8. When I was 38 was when I started like needing to warm up. When I was 34 and I started, I didn't need to warm up. So when you started, like that's getting up there. 38. Like you're starting to need to like warm up and almost be sweating before you work out, right? Oh, this is him.
I started at a gym.
It's Jason Grubb.
Yeah, it's me.
Oh fuck! How he would hammer me into the ground like a tent stake. My phone says his name's Timothy.
I know.
What the fuck? I show some respect, Sevi. I take everything back I said. You have a huge dick. I apologize. That's what I meant to say.
He's got a great lockout on that muscle up.
2-time champ.
Wow. Well, thank you for calling. I got to get you on the show. We're gonna for a full length podcast and get your background, but maybe during I have your phone number now, and maybe I can text you and bug you throughout the week, and we can grab you and get some of your insight into what's going on.
That'd be great, brother. I'd appreciate it.
Dude, you made the show. Thank you. We were stuck with Hobart, like some old athlete, throwback athlete. Now we got a real one. Thank you.
It's rough. Yeah,
We're in recession.
Hobart did so poorly last year. So poorly. Anyway, thanks, guys.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks, Jason.
Yeah, talk to you later.
Oh, God, I'm a jackass. You guys knew the
man,
whole time?
When he called in, and you started running your mouth, I'm like, this guy's a stud, man.
I was thinking if he was on camera, there's no chance he would be saying this.
If he was in my room, I wouldn't be saying that. I'd be like hiding.
I actually think he was the guy who passed me and said, "Don't worry, I'm not in your age group."
Oh, no shit.
I think it was
Believable. Believable.
Alpha move.
Well, we tested him. He's got a great sense of humor. His voice is so proper. I was just started like having delusions. Did someone... Sevan is slipping. Let me tell you, you don't even know. My day has been crazy. What a dick, Sevan. I know. I know. Thanks, Martin Luther. Every time I see this guy, I think it's Martin Luther King, MLK, because that's what MLK. That's what the streets called in where I grew up. MLK. Oh, shit! Put my foot in my mouth.
Good times.
I know him. Yeah, I didn't connect the dots. I'm too busy making up metaphors in my head to know who anyone.
It was just funny because you literally described my mom.
I thought it was your mom.
Placemats, shit we never use, vacuum lines in the carpet, nothing on the counter ever.
Ironing board, a room with an ironing board.
Yeah.
I just like the fact that Sevan talks to someone on the phone whose first word out of his mouth isn't anything to do with genitalia, and Sevan's like, this guy must be a square.
I hope my mom didn't hear any of that. It didn't. That wasn't good. I have to take the trash out today. My wife just texted me. Hey, so I'm on this thread with like 15 guys, all guys who come in and out of this show. And it's called our semifinals thread, and it's like where everyone's just dumping just intel, like, just where we all feed each other information. You're not on it, Hobart, sorry. And
keep me off of it, please.
You must be kept off of it. And it used to be, I forget what the picture used to be, but I noticed today someone switched it to fucking Phil Toon. And he looks so sexy and good in it. And it's crazy. But I kind of want someone to put an RIP in the corner.
Oh my God.
Like a rest in
stamp
peace.
across it.
I just feel so bad for him. And people are like, don't feel bad for him. Why? I can feel bad for a guy even when they did something bad. I can feel bad for a drunk driver who totaled his Lambo. Sucks.
It does suck.
You want to say anything about cheaters, Hobart?
No.
All right. Yeah, I don't blame you. I think it's good not to say anything. All right, Brian. Anything else? So let's watch that guy too, Mr. Grubb. We definitely
Yes.
two-time champ. Everyone loves a winner.
That's going to be a really competitive division. Really competitive division.
Yeah, the 45-49 is going to be awesome.
Hey, what place does Spencer get? Austin Spencer.
30th around there probably.
Wow, that's good.
30th?
That's good. Yeah, totally humble. Man, he was humble. He just came in, and I just thought it was some random dude calling, and I just thought, I'll try some of my new material on him. Fuck that all up. Jeez, man. What a jackass.
Awesome.
I'm gonna have to ride the assault bike tonight for that.
Are we done, Sevan?
I think so. What did you do? Anything else you want to talk about?
Yeah, I'm on East Coast time this week.
Just wanted to say goodnight to Heidi before we go.
Oh,
right.
Dang.
All right, guys. Tomorrow morning, 7 a.m., Rebecca Fuselier. I got a ton of questions to ask her. She's going to be fun. She is really fucking cool. She got a ton of energy. I bet you I'll accidentally interrupt her 1,000 times. She likes to talk. I like to talk. It's going to be a good time. Brian, will you be here for that show?
No, I'm coaching in the morning.
You suck. Okay. I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Hobart, thanks for coming on. You the man. I hope I behave.